Hey, man, I really appreciate you not only no showing the wedding, but also forgetting my anniversary, even though I told you this past
Mhm.
weekend. That was
Hey,
awesome.
well, happy anniversary.
No, thank you. Go fuck
Yeah, I didn't
yourself.
forget it. No, I
Shit.
didn't forget it. No.
Hey, we do need to talk about what happened over the weekend. We're gonna
Mhm.
watch this whole Nitro, but boy, we saw some really special stuff happen over the weekend that I just don't think we can let pass us by. What looks like perhaps might actually be the end of Bryan Danielson's in-ring career, and a lot of speculation will be the end of his full-time career. And of course, Terry Funk would probably advise us to never say never.
Mhm.
What a brutal scene to close WrestleDream. Normally, as a rule of thumb, AEW sends them home happy. We've got a nice feel good moment. That's certainly the way we close the show at Wembley Stadium, the biggest show of the year for AEW. And that's where Bryan Danielson captured the AEW world title. And he lost it this past weekend in pretty devastating fashion. I mean, just brutal and the betrayal. Goodness gracious, what a way to close the show and what a way to close Bryan Danielson's career. You were there, you had a front row seat. What did you
Mm.
think?
Uh, I, uh, the only thing I think about right now at this time is how lucky I've talked to you about this, about me feeling lucky, about feeling lucky about, well, first of all, I feel very lucky about, being a part of Ric Flair's career and being able to hold the microphone for him. But then again, we flash forward to what is the modern day wrestling. And I feel very fortunate to have been there for Bryan Danielson's, probably his last match, um, because he's got to get healthy. And I just, to me, am I wrong to say he's the best of all time? Is a man like me who has watched Ric Flair, who has seen Shawn Michaels, uh, wrong to say that Bryan Danielson's the best of all time?
You think Bryan Danielson's above Shawn or above Rick, above Brett, above everybody else? Bryan
Yeah.
Danielson's the number one for you.
Yes, for me.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty strong, man. Not a lot of people would say that. He's always been one of my favorites going back to like '04, but when you start to say, boy, he's better than all the others, I mean, that includes the Chris Benoit's and Eddie Guerrero's and the Kurt Angles. And my goodness, that's quite a compliment there for your pal and maybe former coworker, Bryan Danielson. What do you think is next, man? I mean, the ultimate betrayal to me is Wheeler Yuta. I can't say that I saw that coming. It did feel like that was going to happen. It would have happened already. And the hometown crowd there, just 78 miles from his home place, did not go home happy on Saturday. What a spectacle.
No, they didn't. And the old thing is to send him home happy. And I guess we decided not to do that. I guess a part of that, as much as anything else, is the fact that knowing that Brian is really worn down, and he may not. I don't know. I say I don't know if Brian's going to wrestle again or not, but I know he needs a rest. And he mentioned on TV that he's going to need surgery before the year is up. So I really don't know if he's going to wrestle again or not. But I do know, man, he needed to slow down. You know, he just did. And I talk to Brian a lot backstage and tell him all the time, number one, how awesome he is, and number two, how concerned I am for him because, for instance, he goes out and he wrestles Okada
Yeah.
right before he goes to wrestles John Moxley. It's like, dude, slow down. And I don't think the guy knows how to slow down. Hopefully, this will slow him down, or at least make him take a break for a little while. But I still think he's the best, and I think he's the best because of just being a number one guy, just being a stand-up great guy, and a guy who really knows, is really smart in the business ways. Tony Khan, depends on him for a lot. He really is one of the best hires that we've had since I've been a part of AEW. And what a I don't know what else to say about him, but it's just tremendous. He really is.
I'm excited to see what's next for Bryan Danielson. You know, if that was the end of his full-time in-ring career, what he continues to do for AEW and with the rest of his life, maybe even outside of wrestling, is going to be interesting. But when we're thinking about what a fourth reign for John Moxley might be, there had never been a three-time champion when Moxley became the AEW champ for the third time. And now he's lapped everybody. He is a four-time AEW champ. They threw the belt in the black bag and scurried away. Man, what do you think's next with Mox here, dude?
Well, Mox has been talking in riddles. I've said that many times on television. John had told me that this is a very important time in AEW. He's confided that with me. What he means by that, I don't know. But there was a time that I thought that John Moxley was AEW's version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And in many ways, you could draw the parallels. Not so sure that everybody buys into that or not, but there's a thought out there with that. I just honestly don't know what we're doing with this, where we're going with this.
I'm sure you've seen some of the crazy out there tinfoil hat ideas.
No, I've not.
Well, there is a contingent of people online, of rather smart wrestling fans that I know, who tend to think that this is to introduce that Shane McMahon may be involved with AEW.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
It's just really hard for me to imagine, but I guess it's wrestling. You never say never in wrestling, right?
Right.
Tom?
That's true. That's true. I say I don't think that's the case, and I could be wrong tomorrow. I look, I work in talent relations. I help with the pre-tapes during the day, and I do the announcing when the show's on the air. That's about the extent of what I do. I don't sit in Tony's office. I don't want to know what the dirt is, or I don't even want to know what the inside scoop is as far as where is this angle going. As an announcer, I just want to. I don't mind knowing where the match is going, but as far as where angles are going, furthering, I don't need to know that, and I think it's good I don't know that. So.
What would you do with 2 house payments? Tony Schiavone here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. When you refinance with Save with Conrad, you can do so with confidence, knowing not only will you get a great rate, but you will get to skip 2 house payments. You don't need perfect credit, and there's no money out of your pocket. Find out how we can help you skip 2 today at SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com.